So, welcome everyone, and anyone I suppose, to my new channel. If you don't know me, my name is Pilk, or at least that's what most people call me. And this is one of my many hobbies, and one that, frankly, as you can tell, has kind of seen better days. Now, there are other things we're going to cover on this channel, but right now this is kind of prudent and kind of foremost, and the reason that I've decided to make this channel in the first place. This is an extremely old, and I really honestly don't know much about this, if I'm honest. Let me get my shadow out of the shot here. It's branded Tyco, but what's really interesting about this particular layout, I think we've gotten some information on this. This layout actually uses, and I don't know if you can really see it here, the track is actually, I don't know if it's going to show up here, it's not Tyco, it's from Atlas. It's very interesting. But I do know these bridges. Pretty sure those are extremely old Tyco bridges. So it's a really interesting setup. Now, the kind of backstory on this, and I'll kind of go into this and why I'm doing a video on this, and my apologies, it is a basement. It ain't pretty, it ain't clean, but it's my shop. So here's the reason we're going about this. I'll give you a little digital tour of the track here. And as you can see, it is under construction, and my shadow's in the shot. And we are shooting on a phone gimbal. If there was any question as to what I'm using, it's a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus on a $100 phone gimbal. But I mean, it works. It's a pretty respectable image when I'm not in the shot. And considering the quality of lighting we have down here, it's not too bad. It'll definitely do the trick, at least for this video. So the main reason I'm making this video, if I'm honest here, is this setup has been a bit of an enigma. And it's been around my family for literally as long as I've existed. And I've come recently to the, I guess for lack of a better word, discovery that this was purchased sometime in 1978 from a gentleman who had it in his basement somewhere in Columbus, Ohio, who, best I can tell, must have purchased this from some kind of a hobby store, some kind of a train store, somebody that was a Tyco dealer. And we think, and this is all speculation because I've not found any specific documentation on this, we think this was made by Nock, I believe is how you pronounce it, N-O-C-H. They're a German company that makes a lot of your scenery and things like that. This type of stuff. But we don't really know. That's not set in stone. That's not, really the purpose of this. Well, it kind of is, actually. I would love to get some information on this. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little tour, as I said before. So you've got two rails here, and these originally were connected with an Atlas right-hand switch. I'm sorry, left-hand switch. I know the difference. And kind of had this little siding here, and you would go up and around. And as you can tell, I'm replacing some of the track. If you can't tell, that right there, that is very badly buckled. Trains can't even... And of course, it's also extremely corroded. I mean, this was in a garage for 30 years and never cared for. So that's why I'm taking ownership of it right now. But you go up and around here, and it kind of goes into this figure 8 type of thing here. Comes back around, goes back over this bridge, then parallels the original track. Back down here. This actually is not original. Pretty obvious, if I'm honest. This is something like we added. This is something we added in the 80s at some point. It was, it was a thing. I was very, very young. We did not know what this was at the time. So that is definitely not original. But it goes under the two bridges. Out around. And back down here. So all in all, a very simplistic setup. A very, very simple setup. Nothing too crazy. And as you can tell, a lot of dust and a lot of debris. And this, like I said, was hanging in a garage for 30 years and really never got any use or care. And I've got kids now, and I've always loved this thing, and I've never really had the time to do it, and now I've got the time to do it. So we're going to fix this up. And I've been trying to look up some information. So I figured out that this Tyco label here, this is something that would have been circa 1960, 1970, I believe. Maybe even earlier, but I think we can tell by the electronics. Like, these don't look like 1950. I mean, they could be. Hey, let me see if I can pull this out here. I mean, that could be, but that looks to me... Well, maybe. Hard to tell. It's really, really, really hard to tell. And, like I said, it is a basement. There's some general refuse around. I am doing my best to clean it up, but I want to get this video out. So, and the wiring is just an absolute disaster. It does not look like 1950s wiring, that is for certain. It's 18 gauge. It is not stranded. It is solid wire. So, but it's still rubberized insulation, so it does not seem to be 1950s era wiring. You know, it's not cotton insulation. It is still rubber insulation, but it is not stranded. It is solid wire. So that's why I'm thinking 1960s would actually make a ton of sense. And that's where that logo is. But as I said, the track is most assuredly Atlas. I have double verified it. That's exactly what this style of switch is. It is 100, and we did verify this today. I've actually purchased some replacement switches. So we really don't know a huge amount about this. And I guess I would love for this video to yield some results on maybe somebody has some information on this. Maybe somebody had one of these in their garage. Or, you know, as a kid they played with one. It would be really neat to find somebody that has some information on this. Now, I will go ahead and wrap myself out. A lot of people are probably going to be quite upset about this. Some people see it as a piece of history, etc., etc. I adore this, but I want to use this as a base for, like, my layout of my dreams. So this is going to kind of be the starting point. I am going to do this in code 100 because I've got a lot of old trains that I've collected over the years. Some very, very, very old trains. That's not old. And I want to be able to use them. So we're going to do this layout at least in code 100. And I've got a lot of Atlas fresh code 100, FlexiTrack. I've got some fresh cork bedding that we're going to put down. And I'm going to do this all retract in Atlas. Probably even add a third siding here. I haven't decided yet 100% on that. And then we're going to come in with some plaster of Paris, and I'm going to make this road elevated so it actually meshes here. I'm going to replace, obviously, these long, broken these little signals. I'm going to replace all those. You can tell there was a semaphore we added when I was extremely young, and I love this style of semaphore, so I might try to find a modern version. I really don't know, but I would love to keep the semaphore. And I know that's not the correct placement of it. I bought it, and then my dad put it on, and yeah, he didn't really know either. So this is a work in progress, and we're going to update this. But I want to put something right here. I haven't decided yet because it's begging for something. And the rest of this needs a little bit of touching up, needs a little bit of updating. There's clearly something that belongs here, and I just don't know what it's going to be, whether it's going to be a train station or something like that. And the other thing that's really kind of, I guess, sticking out here are these gaps. I would love to be able to fill these in with something and just make it more flush. Just general beautification, I guess. Minor modifications that will take it from what it is, you know, a very aged, preformed plastic setup to something really beautiful, really nice, and just representative of a far more modern, I guess, iteration. And I know some people are going to say, no, it's super classic, it's really unique, and it is. I've never seen another one like this. But for me, for my purposes, and for my interests, I mean, it's falling apart. It needs help. It needs work. It is far from perfect. And if I could take something really cool like this and turn it into something absolutely beautiful, then when I finally... I'm just telling you right now, you think this is a mess? Wait till you see. We'll talk about that later. Wait till you see the train room, because it is an absolute disaster. But the goal here is to start this off and then move into that, and then turn this into something really phenomenal. So if you are a fan of trains, if you're a fan of just hobbies in general, because we have other things we're going to be doing eventually, case in point, other things that we're going to be doing on the channel, then make sure you subscribe, stay up to date, and we'll be back with more. I have a lot of trains that I've collected over the years, and we plan to have a whole lot of fun. So come join me for the ride. I will see you all very soon.